Yes.
Do you have it?
Robert Chagnon.
Here.
Where am I? I'm gonna write this down as I do those names. I can't find anything. Joe Albert.
Here.
Donna Korpin-Spinsky.
Here.
Jane Smith here, and Elizabeth Davis and John Hayes are absent.
I'd like to seat Bob Shagnon.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, in place of, what do we say?
John Hayes.
John Hayes. Okay, fire evacuation. In case of fire, there's two-way exit of the chambers. To my left, exit through the chamber doors, turn left, walk down the flight of stairs and out the building, or exit through the rear of the chambers, through the door, and far away from the building. Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag, United States of America, stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excuse me. Public hearing, there's none. Public participation, if there's issues not on the agenda, we don't have any. Correspondence, Jenny?
I'm sorry. There's been a little bit of a change in how everything's done upstairs, and I don't do the packets anymore. So if there's correspondence, it would be in your packet.
Okay, I don't think there was none.
No.
Okay. Commissioners' correspondence, if any?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Do you have anything? Does any of the board members have anything?
Yeah. I can even do the minutes. That was next. I have a couple things. One, if you remember, there was something came before us for Hazard Avenue, 10 acres of land off of Hazard Avenue, near Powder Hollow. They thought somebody was clearing land. I'll actually read it. Here. During a field, it was from the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, that during a field review of Terry Brook on Thursday, May 28, 2015, he discovered vegetation clearing along an approximate 100-foot length of steep bank of Terry Brook. An excavator was on site. There were no erosion and sediment controls in place, and the vegetation was left within the stream channel. I'm assuming this was an unauthorized activity. He sent some pictures along. It's located on the back property from 507 Hazard Avenue. We can call them if we had any questions. So I did visit the site on Saturday. There is an excavator on site. Yes, there is. There is some hay bales up at the when I saw it. The owner told me that there was a huge branch from the tree, which I did see on the site, that was, the tree was sitting on the edge of the bank and it fell down into the brook. And it was impeding the brook, the flow of the water. So he dragged it out with the use of the excavator by tying a rope to it and dragged it out. Nothing else was done. It was just that. So I don't see anything in our regulations that this was definitely storm damage. And I looked around the property, the whole property. There is a lot of storm damage down branches and trees and things. So he was just clearing it out of the water because it was blocking the brook.
And that's on the north side of Hazard Avenue?
If you're going towards Summer, it's on the left.
On the left.
Yeah. The property's set way back. There's no trespassing sign set up.
There was a, I guess they would say, I think there was a few years ago a tornado or a mini tornado that came through and stripped all those trees down in there.
Right.
There was a lot of damage. I saw from just 190.
Damage. I do have some pictures if you'd like to see them. I took my own as well. So I think he was doing the right thing in stopping the flow, clearing up the brook so the water would flow properly. We don't have any regulations on that for storm damage. There is an ordinance in the town, section 42-33, that talks about promoting public health and safety and general welfare to minimize public loss due to flood conditions in specific areas, and it goes on and on. I think it would kind of fall into that, but it's up to Anybody here, if
I
they
have
have
no
any
issue with
issues
it,
or
no. I have no issue with it.
concerns or want us to do anything?
Better that he took it out than leave the stream clogging, because that would have just backed up the flow.
True, that's what I was
Probably
thinking.
created
More damage
more damage and issues.
and issues along the way, so.
You're satisfied it's just a storm damage and?
Yeah,
no-
it was definitely storm damage. Just, I could, pass the pictures out. There's, yeah, a lot of trees down and, well, branches and
Yeah.
things down all along the way. Those are ones I took.
Did the DEP talk to the owner?
No,
They just
they
drove,
just went on
happened
the
to see
property.
it?
You can't see the property, you can't see it from the street. I do have a picture from that. It's set way back, so why they were on the property is kind of beyond me.
I thought, if I'm not mistaken, they were doing a study. I thought Jenny brought it up at one of the meetings. They were doing a study on the fish. They were going to do a study on the fish that travel up Terry Brook. That's in conjunction with the dam on the Scannick River. So that's a possibility why they were doing an investigation.
Yeah,
I should say
looking-
not investigation, but walking the brook to see if there was any damage or if there's anything blocking the flow so that fish can't travel up.
can't travel.
Yeah.
I would hope they notify the landowners, though, that somebody's gonna be on your property. I would wanna know. But,
The town has to do that.
yeah. So, anyways, it's up to us if you wanna,
I have no issues with it.
No.
Looking at the pictures, it definitely looks like storm damage from what I can see in the pictures, not having been to the site, so trust what you saw when you were there, so. I mean, they do have some hay bales up. It's hard to tell where exactly that is relative to the tree, but
Yeah, this is what
Yeah.
you're
as
talking
long as the
about.
excavator's pulled way back, which
Yeah,
it
the
appears to be,
excavator's-
it's not,
yeah. Yeah, the
I'm
excavator
assuming the
wasn't
excavator's
closed.
on their property and not in any,
Right, it is on their property. And the brook and everything is on their property, so it's part of the
oh,
property.
sure, but,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the storm damage.
but it's not sitting on the embankment is what I was getting at.
Yeah,
So there's nothing untoward going on.
No,
No.
Does it need our interference?
no,
I don't see it.
okay. That was that. Correct, we did ask Jenny to provide us with some information on CREC, which she did in our packets. It was the meeting minutes, and what else did you give us? The meeting minutes from the CREC. If anybody had a chance to read them. I also did see an article in the newspaper on CREC, actually, Hartford Current, Friday, June 12th, talks about CREC, that they're trying to work out something with the town, of course, with the lawsuit. They want to put in some drainage that might help alleviate some of the drainage issues. In reading all the minutes, Mrs. Mullen asked multiple times, and they kept assuring her multiple times that it wasn't going to cause any issues on her property, and that what they were going to be doing at the construction site was supposed to help her and not hinder it. It also said that there was supposed to be a site report to verify that the stormwater plan was constructed. Was that done, do you know, Jenny?
I'm sorry, no, I don't know. I think everything is ground to a halt while everything is looked at by all the parties in the lawsuits.
That's a report from
Yeah,
Inland Wetlands?
yeah. This is inland wetlands meetings.
Right.
So I don't know if we want to continue on and do some more investigation, or?
I'm sorry, what?
I was asking the
Oh,
teams if they wanted to,
In my opinion, I would kind of wait till the town takes care of the business that they have to take care of in case, if we do any more discussion on this, in case it comes back to us that we're not being prejudiced and prejudiced in any way, shape, or form, or any comments that we may or may not say could depend on an application coming forward to us. That's just in my opinion.
sounds good. Okay.
And then that would be the appropriate time as well to push where the report is that's mentioned here. Is once that's taken care of, then say, okay, we need to cross all the Ts and dot all the Is of what we asked for. But clearly nothing's going to happen while the town's under litigation anyway, so I don't think there's anything we can do at this point, but wait.
But wait. The other thing was 146 South Road, which was in our packets. We did a cease and desist on that property a little bit ago.
I sent a violation letter to the owner in April. And I hadn't heard anything, but I did go over, I got permission from Camerata, who owns the adjoining property, and I did get a chance to go over there and look. I couldn't really tell from that vantage point which trees, I think I gave you a map.
Yes, you did.
And you can see from the original map where the wetlands are. And they do own the house next door, and it looks like quite a bit of the trees were in that property. But
It's still laying there.
I can't get the owner to, I can't get in contact with the owner, so.
There also is a lot of stockpiling of different,
That's why I
Exactly.
gave you that map. That's something you'll want to hold on to, because you'll see there exactly what was allowed for Tarnos.
right.
The certain storage areas and the garden center and the Lath House, and we'll go from there. But it's not that I can't. It's not that I didn't cite him. It's just that I can't get on the property to walk it with him. I will send a letter out. A letter probably should be sent out.
Yeah.
Suggesting that the owner agree to meet with the wetlands person and just go over what's there and what's changed and how that's going to be handled. So I'll make a note of that.
That'd be fine, thank you. I don't know if anybody drives by there, but could take a ride by if you.
Did we
A few
get
minutes.
did we get a letter of the cease and desist order or no?
Right?
I'm not sure, but I'll make sure you get a copy of it. It's not a cease and desist, it's a notice of violation.
Notice of violation.
Yeah,
I will get you a,
I have a copy.
Copy the letter.
Yeah, I have a copy.
okay. Wasn't in your packet, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll make sure the rest of you get a copy of the
Yeah.
letter.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got the original. Okay, and other than that, that's all I had. Does anybody have anything they'd like to?
Not at this time.
No?
Just one. Jenny, any news on that Hazard Avenue property that we were discussing last time?
I was prepared for him to bring in an application. I called him the next morning, as you had requested, and I told him that you, as a group, Inland Wetlands, thought he should bring in an application, and he said no problem. And I was led to believe that it would be coming in. Yesterday, I checked with Sean Rera, the other assistant planner, to see if he had had any talks, because they also have to go to planning, and he hadn't heard from him. And that makes me wonder. Joe had mentioned that years ago there was issues. So when and if it comes in, research is going to have to be done on it to make sure that there's no issues that have fallen through the cracks or that we're not aware of. But so far, nothing.
Thank you, Jenny.
You're welcome.
I did have another. Did you have an update on 61 Meadowlark, the Crescent Lake, with the dumping violation? You know, the gentleman?
Oh, the gentleman that came to the last meeting,
Yeah.
Baril, or yes, Barone. He was supposed to call me to set up a meeting. He wanted to set it up someplace else, and I said no, I would make myself available, but it had to be at the lake. I haven't heard from him, so I was thinking of reaching out to him in a letter and also finding out who the president of the association is and seeing if they can come. And that way, it's put to bed once and for all.
That'd be good.
Okay.
Take a note, sorry. That would be that. Okay, that's all I had then. Next on the agenda is approval of minutes from June 2nd, 2015. Motion to, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion?
Yes, the motion.
Yeah. Any discussion? Anybody have anything? Okay, I did see on here, under section 2 roll call, they have Franco Limo as being absent. He's actually resigned.
I have talked to the girl, and I will make sure that going forward, Mr. Alimo and Mr. Perello's names will not be on anything again.
Mr. Perlo's,
Actually resigned?
No, but he hasn't come, and I've reached out to him a couple times, so I'm assuming, I don't know when his term is up, but I'm assuming
It's a
that
while.
I did email him. The very last time I reached out to him, I emailed him and said that I would not send him anything until he was ready, to come, and to please let me know when he was planning on attending so that he could get a packet
His term expires June 2017.
of this year.
2017.
Oh, 2017. Well,
Yeah, a couple years. So maybe we have to send him a letter. Ask him if he's coming, or I
we
don't know what
can't-
we do, or
but I will send an email to the town manager's office with a copy to you, Donna, saying that he has missed many meetings, and we're anxious to get the ranks filled.
yeah,
You're anxious.
yeah.
Okay.
He hasn't been here since the beginning of the year.
hasn't been here in a long time.
In a long, long time, yeah.
Well, at least over a year.
Yeah. So,
I think he came to 2 meetings since the first 2 meetings I was here, and then after that I didn't see him.
okay. So we have a motion and a second for the minutes.
All in favor?
All in favor? Motion passes. Okay, so we got the minutes. Reports of officers, committees, and staff? None? Okay. Mr. Friend, next on the agenda is Inland Wetland Number 563, parking lot expansion, 99 Print Shop Road, map 99, lot 14, zoned I-1 Lego Systems, INC owner. See, I'll get that.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Mark Friend. And at the last meeting, I presented an application that's before you for a parking lot expansion at 99 Print Shop Road, which is shown on the map here. And the parking lot expansion is in the darker gray, which is to the west of the existing building and existing parking lots, which are in lighter gray. Parking lot is 192 parking spaces with landscaping and landscaping islands that meet the town zoning regulations. The blue area to the south is a detention water quality basin to receive the additional runoff. The area as it exists was the Lego softball fields. They haven't been used in a few years, but they used to have an active softball league that they use that field for. Now apparently parking spaces are more in demand than softball leagues, so they would like to convert that. This parking lot will service the bigger building to the north, which technically is 100 Print Shop Road. As you all know, this used to be one big campus, and it's still all owned by the same owner. But this parking lot would be used by the bigger building off the end of Print Shop Road. At the last meeting, the commission had requested some staff input. Probably the most important one would be the town engineer, which he responded via email on June 8th and mentioned that he had reviewed the plans along with the hydraulics and hydrology report. And he said that his review was complete and the proposed increase in impervious area and a larger detention basin has been designed to attenuate the increased peak flows. The pavement, curbing, bituminous sidewalk details, along with the required standard town notes are on the plan. He did have 2 engineering concerns, which were extremely minor in nature. One of them, he says on sheet 3 of 5, notes that there's an 8-inch opening. Out of the detention pond in blue, there's a concrete weir. that is a 12-inch wall, meaning that the wall is 12 inches thick, but the opening of the weir, which shows up on page 7 of 8, is supposed to be an 8-inch opening. A Scrivener's error from my office showed that the 12-inch wall had a 12-inch opening. It's supposed to be an 8-inch opening. We'll revise the plans, of course, to reflect that. He also mentioned that there were some labels on sheet 3 of 8. I think the wetlands, down in the lower part, the wetlands numbering, the wetlands flag numbering, there were some elevations that were written over those wetland flags because we actually got topo shots along the edge of the brook. So there were elevations along the edge of the brook at the same locations there were wetland flags, and they were written over each other, which was what he was talking about some of the labels need to be clarified. So he had 2 minor comments that are easily corrected on the plans. And I think the commission, that's mainly what you were looking for at the last meeting. So if there's any questions, I'll try to answer them at this point.
Does anybody have any questions at the time, or?
Have they been corrected? They've been corrected?
The comments from the engineer have not been corrected. I would ask that you just made conditions of approval, saying that the comments by the town engineer be addressed with the final plans. They're so minor in nature that I didn't want to print out another 12 sets of, trying to save paper for those 2 comments.
And they will be on the planning and
They
zoning
will be on
along
the
with
plans
this letter.
submitted. To be honest with you, they have already been changed in our office on our plans. I just didn't print 12 sets of 8 copies to resubmit. And so when we submit to planning and zoning, they've already been changed. We changed those 2.
It'll be in our updated ones.
The only thing I had questions, did you delineate where you're gonna put the snow stockpile? Is it on the drawings themselves?
It's not on the drawings.
Okay.
As I mentioned last time, this parking lot is an optional parking lot for them in that it's not required by zoning. So I think maybe the critical thing, which we did on another application, is we should probably, and I didn't do it on this, is put some snow stockpiling signs along the detention pond, which I didn't put that on the plans yet, but I probably should have because we did that in the last one. So that should be a condition of approval so that they don't stockpile the snow to the south of this parking area where the water quality basin is. But other than that, we can put a note that snow to be stockpiled in the islands. If they had to, they could take up part of the parking lot to stockpile snow because this isn't required by zoning. It's an optional parking lot that they have a need for, but seasonally, they could stockpile snow in the parking lot itself until it could be trucked off.
I would just recommend, I agree with you. I think the putting no snow signs up along the side where the pond is a very good idea, even though plows will probably ignore it anyway. But but also, I would suggest putting in the notes maybe that what the plan is for snow piles, like if it's going to be in the islands or in the parking area, which is fine. I would just clarify that it can be stored in that parking area as long as it's not over top of a catch basin. And just have, if that's a note in there, then that theoretically can get passed down to whoever's maintaining the snow in the winter.
Okay.
The only other thing I wanted to ask is, there's no plans for any stockpile of salt or any ice melt of any type on the site, right?
No, they haven't done that on the rest of their site, so I can only extrapolate that they will, they'll use the same procedure they've been using on the rest of the site. But we could put a note, we could put another note to that effect.
I think it's a good idea because I know that we've had some issues with
Stockpiling of salt?
Stockpiling of salt, especially behind Brookside Plaza there, Jenny, remember? Yep. They had stockpiled it. For years they didn't, and all of a sudden they started, and it was an issue. I just don't want to see that become an issue.
Okay, we can put that on the On the conditions, and those two things will be showing up on the plans.
Planning and
in the
zoning.
notes. Well, I'll try to get you a copy of it so you can see what's, maybe, Mark, you could bring us in, me
Sure.
in one, so I can put it in the file
Yep.
after I show them?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
So what I have is the two items for Mr. Kabibbo, yep. And then plan for the snow pile, be on there, not over catch basins, the signs, can't stockpile salt and sand
Yep,
piles.
so that's 4 additional conditions. 2 from John.
Five,
Two for
Five?
John and three for us.
yeah.
All right, I got the snow stockpiling. You wanted to put on the plans under notes for no stockpiling of snow along Basin, which is the south side of where the pond is. And no stockpiling stockpiling on this parking area. What's the third
And then
one?
just, well, the signs along the pond for the snow, but also to note that the snow stockpiles should not be over top of catch basins,
Okay,
but wherever they feel is the most appropriate spot in that parking lot for their parking is sufficient for, as far as the board is concerned. That's my, well, as
Thank
far as
you.
I'm concerned anyway.
thank you.
Any other discussion, or do I hear any motions, or?
Motion as soon as I find that temp sheet. Here we go. I'll make a motion to approve inland wetlands application number 563 with the following conditions for approval. The 2 items brought to the attention by John Kabibbo, the engineering office.
Say the date.
Oh,
Yeah, Monday, June 8th.
sorry, Monday, June 8th email noting regarding the elevation and the wetlands map, pardon me, the wetlands flags labels on the plan be more legible, and the correction regarding the weir on sheet 3 of 5 versus the detail on sheet 7 of 8. Those 2 from engineering, and then from this board, a condition that no snow signs be placed along the detention pond side of the parking area, and also a note on the plans to indicate that snow piles should not be stored over top of catch basins. And then finally, that there should be no salt storage or sand storage on the property during the winter months, well, during any months.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Can't hear me.
Roll call is Bob Tegno,
Yes.
Joe Albert,
Yes.
Donna Corbin,
Yes.
Jane Smith, yes.
So that's 400.
Motion passed, 400.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Whoops, new business, there's none. New applications to be received. We were given 4 tonight. Looks like application 1506 for Crescent Lake area. There's 1507 is Mullen Road Culvert temporary fix. 1508 is Orlando Drive Culvert. And inland wetlands 564, 6 Niblick Road.
Okay, are you going to set them all for the next, do you want them all on the next
We
application?
should put them on the next, on the next agenda,
Okay,
which is not until July 7th, Tuesday, July 7th. People actually have 14 days from today if they wanted to submit any kind of a thing for a public hearing, which would be June 30th, and we don't have a meeting. So if something came in, we would have to have a special meeting to go forward with that.
if the petition comes in, I will call you.
Yep.
And I
Just the
understand you
record.
need a special meeting, but
yeah.
at least you'll know it's
At least we know it's
come in.
there, we could accept it or do whatever we need.
Okay.
That looks like that's it on the agenda. Anything else? Anybody comments? No? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn in the wetlands meeting.
Any second? All in favor? Aye. Meeting's adjourned.